Okay guys, I'm going to show you the ultimate house hack in this video, how I live for free, and my house that I bought also pays me an extra $7,000 a month. Now, I live here in Australia, but what I've done, you can basically do anywhere in the world. So guys, what exactly have I done to make such a tremendous return on my investment? Well, to put it simply, I saved up some money throughout my apprenticeship, doing carpentry and stuff, and I got enough money for a house deposit. I then bought this old house on the lake that needed a bit of work. I renovated it and turned it into a threeplex. I live in one unit and I rent out the other 2 units, and that's what pays me the $7,000 a month. So guys, if you do not know what house hacking is by now, it's basically when you either put like one of the rooms that you're living in, when you rent out one of the rooms, or you turn some part of the house into an income producing source for you. So someone else basically pays for the house for you while you still live in it for free. The most common type of house hacking is to buy a duplex, rent out one side, live in the other side, and then that rent from that side pays the entire mortgage basically. Another one would be renting out a couple of rooms in the house, or putting one room on Airbnb and making money that way, and that pays the mortgage while you sit there and live for free. So my house hacking was a little bit more kind of out of the box sort of thinking here, but it did provide a great return for me. So let me give you guys the details and exactly what I did. So after buying this house for $690,000, a very big purchase for me, my first time, and I was very scared because I did buy it right at the start of coronavirus. I was worried that everything was going to crash. But anyways, we got over that and we still managed to house hack it, and things worked out pretty well. So after I bought the house, I turned the bottom unit into its own separate unit basically. This was actually quite easy because it's a 2-story house, and the stairs to go up to the 2nd story are actually located on the exterior of the house. It doesn't have an interior stairway. Okay, so that made it very easy. It was already 2 separate units. The bottom one already had a bathroom in it, and I just had to do some renovations, tile the floor in the bottom half, gyprock all the walls, and turn it into its own separate unit with a kitchen, little kitchenette, and yeah, away we go. Now the top unit wasn't exactly super modern, so I did a little bit of work to the kitchen and stuff, but at the end of the day, the top unit was already a 3-bedroom house that was already there, so I didn't need to do much to it, and that's where I'm going to be living. So now I have 2 separate units, but I also have a boat shed in the backyard, basically overlooking the water, right next to the water. Now, as soon as I saw this house, I knew that boat shed would make the perfect Airbnb. It's such a unique structure, and it's so close to the water, you wouldn't even be allowed to build something like that anymore, so close to the water. Now the boathouse wasn't the most easiest project to undertake. There was a fair bit that went into it. For one, the boathouse is actually lower than my sewer line, and as we all know, shit runs downhill. So all the sewerage can't go uphill to my sewer line, so we actually had to install this special pump that grinds up all the poo and all the toilet paper, and it shoots it through about a 1-inch pipe. Okay, pressurizes it up, as well as like all the shower drainage and the kitchen drainage. It pushes it all up into my sewer line. It actually pumps it up. So I had to install that to get the bathroom working in the boat shed. Now the most vicious expense was definitely adding that bathroom. The rest of the boathouse was actually pretty easy. I took the roller door off. There was already sliding doors there. There was already windows on it. And I added some carpet tiles for flooring, a little tiny kitchenette. We painted all the walls, added a deck out the front. It was pretty easy work that most people could do. Now, after the renovations were complete, it was officially a threeplex. I live in the top unit, the 3-bedroom house, and then I have 2 other units downstairs that I can rent out on Airbnb. And the boat shed has its own private access around the side, and then I share the side with the downstairs unit so that we both can go, I can go up the stairs and then they go straight into the unit from around the back of the house. So I'm living in the top unit, and I've got these 2 units now on Airbnb. Okay, we took some really nice photos, they look fantastic. I could have put them on Airbnb, or I could have just rented them out, but Airbnb seems like a lot better option simply because they're both on the water and it's in a good area, close to shops and stuff, near the train station. So Airbnb was the one to go. And we spent, we get about $7,000 a month off Airbnb by renting out just those 2 units, and that's very consistently. Even in like this off season at the moment where it's winter over here in Australia, we're still getting very consistent income from there. When it gets to summertime, actually over Christmas, the boat shed is renting out for $300 a night, so that's pretty insane. You know, basically every single day of the week, just over that Christmas period. So that's a lot of money right there. But even in the off times, we're still pulling in about $7,000 a month. Once you deduct all the bills, like paying the mortgage for me, paying the electricity bills, the Wi-Fi costs, you know, cleaning fees and all that stuff, we're left with just under $4,000, okay, of net profit that I get to keep after having all my expenses paid and living for free. Now, you can't tell me that is not the ultimate house hack. Now, that sounds like a lot of money for basically a shed and like a downstairs dungeon. That's especially what it looked like when I first bought the house. But the reason why you get so much money off from Airbnb for something like that is because they're their own self-contained unit. They have kitchenettes, they have bathrooms, they have everything like that. So if you were just to rent a private room on Airbnb, you'll definitely not get that much money that I'm getting here because you're sharing a kitchen, you're sharing a bathroom and stuff. So if you can make some kind of self-contained unit, you can really house hack a lot more efficiently because you don't have to see the person, you don't have to deal with them. You both have your own lockable, you know, front doors to go in and out of, and you make a lot more money. Now, this was a pretty fancy deal. I know not everyone out there is going to kind of be ready to take on something like that. But even if you're renting or if you've bought a house, you can still house hack. There's tons of different ways out there. You know, if you are renting, say, a 3-bedroom house, you can rent out 2 of the rooms with some friends or something, like sign them up on a long-term lease, people that you trust, turn it into a shared house. You can put 1 room on Airbnb, and that's going to be a ton of income that way, just having a private room on Airbnb, but that's a bit more servicing. You've got to clean it, and you got to have a lockbox and stuff to make sure that they can get in and out. I actually did a full video showing you how to put a private room on Airbnb, how much you can expect to make, and what all the little bits and bobs that you need to do, the little details. So you can check that video out right there. That'll show you how to put a private room on Airbnb and house hack that way. You can do that if you're renting, or you can do that if you've bought the house. Now, if you've just bought a house and it needs a ton of renovations, it might actually pay to put up a wall in the middle of the house and maybe turn it into its own 2 separate units. Add another kitchen. You're going to get a lot more money that way if you kind of turn it into like a duplex, because people don't have to worry about sharing anything with you. They like their privacy, you know. So if they have their own door that they can go into, they have their own little kitchen, they have a wall up so that you guys don't ever meet or talk, that's kind of what you want. Like, that's creating almost like a duplex in a normal house. So if you ever bought a house that needed a lot of renovations, that's something I would seriously consider. Guys, living costs are so high right now. I have heard some crazy figures lately about like people spending like 80% of their money that they take home just on like providing living for themselves. It's honestly getting out of control. So if you can have someone else paying your living costs for you, you're going to be so far ahead. You know, what you'd usually spend on rent, you can invest that. There's just so much more you can do if you don't have to worry about the living costs. So again, live with your parents for as long as you can, but when you need to move out, I would definitely consider house hacking in some way. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my perspective on what I'm doing over here in Australia to house hack. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop the comments down below. Check out my YouTube channel. There's heaps of videos on there on all the crazy stuff I'm doing to make that sweet money. And thanks for watching. Catch us in the next one.